Everybody. Welcome to Turning the Tide Bookstore. My name is Peter. I'm the owner of this place. I'd like to start with a land acknowledgement. We're here on Treaty 6 territory in the homeland of the Métis. Some time ago when I was in university, I was part of a group doing film screenings. I had just moved back here from Victoria, and there was a woman who's now a good friend of mine who showed up and said, we were doing film screenings on Indigenous rights, and she said, "What do you know about the treaties?" And I said, "Nothing, actually." And so I needed to go, and she said, "You need to go and learn about the treaties." And so I read this book called The Treaty Elders of Saskatchewan that talked about, it wasn't well known at that point that, we were all treaty people. That wasn't a common thing. And so she encouraged me to learn about it, and I was quite shocked to find out how the treaties were signed, what the intent of the treaties were, and the keepers of the treaty knowledge, and the sort of the intent of the treaties, which was to live in harmony with one another and live in harmony with the earth and with the Creator, and just that in good relation. We just haven't done that, and I've spent the last number of years with this bookstore trying to live up to my role as a treaty person, and to challenge the ideas around colonialism and those kinds of things. And so the treaties are an important thing in this place and for me, and I think it's important to always kind of keep that in mind. So that's the land and the relationships. So I'd like to welcome everybody to a launch tonight, or a signing and presentation by Elaine M. Is not exactly a launch. How long has the book been out for now?
Since June.
Since June. So we've had this book in the shop for a while now. It's a really beautiful book. It's a really it's beautifully illustrated. It's very well written. I have to say I'm new to the sort of comic and graphic novel. It's not something that I necessarily grew up with, and I've always been just sort of like a text reader. Mm-hmm. And recently I've kind of gotten more into and started to develop an appreciation for the comic and graphic novel format, and this is a stunning book, and congrats on that. So I'll tell you a little bit about Elaine here. So a cartoonist and illustrator from the wilds of Canada. Mm-hmm. I guess this is the wilds. Been drawing since you could hold a pencil, drawing comics books since you were 5, which is really impressive. Holds a BA in illustration from the University of Bournemouth. Is that how you
Arts University.
Arts University
at Bournemouth.
I
believe it's called now. It's changed its name several times.
In the UK. Well-known author of Look Straight Ahead. That's where I first, I think you came into the bookstore consigning copies of Look Straight Ahead years and years ago in the old house on 11th Street. That's a graphic novel about a teen boy's struggle with mental illness. The book was well received, nominated for Joe Shuster Award in 2011. You were also the recipient of a 2012 Zurich Award from the Final Grant cycle. Your comics have also appeared in Chilly Tales, Then It Was Dark, Bottoms Up, Built on Strange Grounds, and Through the Labyrinth of the Mind. Illustrations have appeared in Broken Pencil, Verb, the Feathertail Review, Blunderbuss, This Magazine, and the Review of Journalism. A new edition of Look Straight Ahead sounds like it's come out again. We're going to get our hands on some of those from Renegade Arts Entertainment.
That was a while ago.
That was a while ago?
There's not many of them left.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do a third one. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, well, that's great. You've sold out of 2 printings of them. And as well as your second graphic novel, Dust Ship Glory, adapted from the novel of the same name by Andreas Schroeder. You're currently you've worked on your third graphic novel is now out. Yes. So this is a little outdated.
A reminder, I need to update that page.
Yeah, fair enough. And so it's the first issue of it was a recipient of the 2021 Joe Shuster Award. So Yeah. Welcome, Elaine.
Thank you. So yeah, thanks everybody for coming out. Yeah, so I'm Elaine, and in 2013 I published a book called Look Straight Ahead. It was pretty well received. I've kind of been chasing that level of acclaim ever since. But of course, receiving critical acclaim is not the reason why I make comics. So The Last Band on Earth is a liminal horror road movie about a noise rock band called the Dead Layaways, who are trapped in a semi-post-apocalyptic city ruled by demons. And they can't really remember how they ended up there, and would very much like to leave, as there's a dark cloud hanging over everything at all times that stifles their creativity. They would also very much like to take their act on the road and go on tour in whatever might be left of the world, but the demons insist that there's nothing outside the city limits but desert wasteland, and that it's safer to stay where they are. Eventually it becomes clear that it's not safe, and they will have to leave and take their chances out in the wastes, or risk being devoured by the city. And did I mention that this is all a thinly veiled metaphor for depression? So, at its core, The Last Band on Earth is about a group of friends fighting to survive a world literally composed of crushing, overwhelming despair, and about never giving up hope in the face of this adversity. I didn't intend for this message to be so timely when I started the book in 2019, but I do feel it's become more important than ever right now. And as with all my books, I want to leave readers with the impression that they are not alone and that it's okay to struggle, but to remember not to let yourself be consumed by your demons. The book is also about the drive to continue making art in a world that's actively hostile towards creative people of all stripes, and that is what I will continue to do as long as I'm able, because it feels like a very punk rock form of protest. Writing and drawing graphic novels is my therapy, and I hope that they're just as therapeutic to read. This book is actually unconsciously based on a comic that I started making in high school, but I never completed more than one issue. And this comic was also about a rock band trapped in a dangerous city, except there were furries and there were no demons and no depression metaphor. The main inspiration behind that one was the movie Hardcore Logo, more specifically the graphic novel adaptation Portrait of a Thousand Punks, which I read as a teenager before seeing the movie, and it had a pretty big impact on me. So anyway, this is the most self-indulgent book I've ever made. It's basically all my favorite themes and favorite things to draw in one book. And it turns out people respond pretty well to that. I hope you do too. So, without further ado, I gotta put this back on. There we go. So we sold one shirt for a grand total of $20. Split 4 ways. Yay. Hey, hi. Excuse me. Rawr! Love you too, Pumpkin. Ugh. Hey, look on the bright side. Nobody threw anything at us this time. I consider that an enormous victory. Remember the cup of piss? Do I have to? Good times, Nat. Oops, I forgot to advance my page, sorry. What are we even doing? Relax, it's okay. Maybe we just need some sort of gimmick, like that metal band who all dress as Ned Flanders. Or the one with a parrot for a lead singer. Rick, please. A cheap gimmick is just another way of saying, hey, we're wacky and fun, but our actual music sucks. Well, dude, I don't know what to tell you. Pitchfork won't respond to my emails. You guys have any other ideas? Will? I'm tired. I just want to go to bed. I'm not sure anything we do will make a difference to the people in this town anyway. He's right, you know. Psh, you too. Hey, Rick, I'll tell you what we need to do. We need to get out of here. Go on tour. You know, like a real band. Yes, well, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Try taking that up with the nice demon dudes on the edge of town. I'm sure they'll be just thrilled with the idea. I will, thanks. I mean, you're not wrong, Axel. This place sucks. It's just that whatever's out there could be even worse. That's right. At least some people actually came to this show. Who knows how many shows we could be playing in other cities for the sound guy and the bartender. Hardy har har. At least the sound guy and the bartender would be humans. Rough. No offense, Charlie. Music just doesn't sound the way it used to, you know what I mean? It's not just me, right? No, it's not just you. I mean, what's this playing on the stereo right now? White Rabbit, I think? One of the most perfectly formed rock songs of all time. And it sounds like it's being played through a tin can from next door. I know it's not their sound system, because everything sounds that way at home, too. It's this place, isn't it? Has to be. It's doing weird shit to everyone and everything. Yeah, the art on the walls is all blurry, too. I mean, you could argue this is an aesthetic, but again, all our posters at home look like this, too. Mm-hmm. Do you remember when it started happening? I don't know. Maybe a year ago? A little while after I got here. What about you? About 2.5 years ago. And yeah, that's around when I got here. That's not all. I used to write a lot of my own songs, but I haven't written anything in that entire time. Now I'm not sure I even remember how. That's ridiculous. Of course you remember. No, I really don't. I'll sit there for hours and I'm lucky if I get 2 words down. You think I haven't done that? That's normal. It happens to everyone. For 2.5 years straight, though? I don't know, Nat. Anyway, most times I just end up writing nothing. You know, I once wrote an album in a week. Why can't that be every week? It doesn't work like that, dude. Nobody's that prolific all the time. Not even, I don't know, Mozart. What if this is it, though? What if I never write anything again? You will. Not as long as we're stuck here. We won't be stuck here forever. I promise. Tell me what you plan to do once you get back home. Let's give ourselves something to look forward to. Huh. I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it. I guess I'd start by seeing if my brother's still around. We haven't spoken in years. Didn't really part on good terms. He was the more successful one. He studied commerce at uni, which is what I should have done instead of an arts degree. Mom loved to compare us, asking why couldn't I be more like him. Oliver never asks me for money, she'd say. I guess I kind of resented him for that, and I said some things I couldn't take back. It was Mom I should have confronted, not him. Anyway, I want to apologize. Although, I'm not sure he misses me or has even noticed I'm gone. Hey now, stay positive. You're right, sorry. What about you? What'll you do if we get out of here? When, not if. There's this girl I used to talk to online years ago, Becca. We met in a chat room. Remember those? A Green Day chat room, I think. And we talk about music, movies for hours, till 3 in the morning some nights. We shared a lot of the same likes, dislikes, idiosyncrasies, and emotional baggage, to the point where I used to feel like we'd been separated at birth or something. One day she told me she was moving to Brandon, which was a lot closer to where I lived. We made plans to meet up once she and her family got settled in their new place. But then she just stopped coming online one day. I tried emailing her. No answer. She hadn't given me a forwarding address, and her old phone number was out of service. It was like she just fell off the face of the earth. Whoa. I need to find her and make sure she's okay. You've tried looking her up on social media, I assume. Yeah, years later. This was long before social media when we first talked online. I'm sorry. It's okay. I'm still hopeful she's out there somewhere. Anyway, Will, you'll write songs again, and see your brother, and he'll be happy to reconnect. We'll make it through this somehow. We have to. And that's it. Thank you.
Can I ask you about some of the, like the band and the sort of the punk rock inspiration for that focus for this book?
Yeah.
So what's, I guess, the role that music has played for you, and it has for me. It resonated in seeing bands that I like on the shirts of some of your characters,
Yes.
Hot Snakes and Nets and things like that.
The Easter eggs.
Yeah. I was like,
Okay, so I have a question for you then.
Okay.
Do you know what the symbol on the back of Nat's jacket is?
Ooh.
Do you recognize that Easter egg?
I will have to go back and take a look.
One person did because
yeah.
they were from the city that band was from.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Only one person has gotten it. So, yeah. Yeah, I guess like drawing has always been my form of escape from like depression and whatnot, and music has been too, I think. Um, and like one band that always really looms large in my mind from high school is Fugazi, because like apart from making really awesome music, I think they really shaped a lot of my morals and values too. Um, just I forget where I was going with that. Anyway, if like I assume you're familiar with Fugazi and like what their morals and values are and everything, so
Yeah, they really epitomize the sort of the DIY kind of ethic.
yeah, and I think it was actually Fugazi that inspired me to start self-publishing comics, not other people who were self-publishing comics, because I didn't really know that was the thing people did. I guess I was like tangentially aware of the Ninja Turtles and the black and white boom in the 80s and everything, but like I hadn't seen any of those comics, so I was like, well, yeah, I'm gonna make a zine, I guess, and I'm gonna put a comic and some record reviews in the back, and that's really cool, and everyone's gonna think I'm cool.
So did you write this during COVID?
A lot of it, yeah.
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 How did that sort of influence the writing of the book?
I think a lot of it I had sort of outlined before that, so I kind of knew where it was going. I'm trying to think now. It took longer to finish than I expected, but every book does, so I don't know that COVID had that much to do with the length of time it took. Yeah. I guess like one thing that I finally did during COVID was I finally sat down and figured out how to like draw a comic page from scratch in the computer. And so like most of the book is entirely digital. So I penciled the first 2 chapters on paper and finished them in the computer, and then chapter 3 onwards is all digital. So that felt like a really big milestone, because I'd been trying to do that for like 20 years previous, and I could never seem to do it because I didn't have the right software and I didn't have the right hardware. I finally got one of those monitors that you can draw on, which were always prohibitively expensive, but now they make cheaper ones. So I got one of those, and I've been having a good time with that. And it really made me remember why I loved drawing so much in the first place.
Does it make drawing easier? Like, how do you find the difference between drawing on paper versus drawing digitally?
So, excuse me, I was going to bring water and I forgot.
Get you some.
Anyway, so, when I was starting out doing that, I was like, oh wow, it's like, this is so cool, because it's like, mistakes don't matter. Oh my god, because like, I can just hit Control Z and it's gone, and I don't like have to see all my eraser marks like I do on paper. Wow, this is so cool. But now I'm kind of getting to a point where my digital drawings are starting to look really stiff, so I'm getting back into traditional again. So I'll do like a traditional sketch on paper, I'll scan it in, and then I'll do other stuff to it in the computer. The other thing I like about drawing on the computer is if I like mess up the proportions or the positioning of something, I can just move it or resize it. Yeah, which maybe sounds kind of like cheating, but it's also whatever